Dang, okay. Hey guys, welcome back to the You Good Homie podcast. This is Ronald, and welcome to episode 4, where we talk about financial literacy and all the things we wish you knew about money back in the day. Thank you for the constant support and love on this podcast. It means so much to the three of us and any other guests that we'll have on. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Make sure you also follow our personal accounts, and we'll be constantly updating you guys on whenever we record or whatever topics we want to discuss. Thank you all for the interaction and responding to our stories. We love that you guys give your input and all that stuff. So yeah, you guys are great. You guys are the greatest. Keep doing what you're doing and enjoy this podcast. Hey.
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
Sync the audio. Okay. I don't know how we start this.
Oh wait, I have to move this shit out of the way.
Welcome back to the UGH podcast, baby.
Welcome back, baby.
It's episode 4, and we're talking about financial money and stuff.
Financial money.
Money.
Big disclaimer. We're just talking about like what we wish we knew when we were younger.
Yeah.
We are not financial advisors, so
No.
So if we say to buy Dogecoin, bro, don't buy Dogecoin.
Buy Dogecoin.
just take everything we say with a grain of salt. But we're just talking about our experiences of like what we wish we did to save more money till now.
Yes, sir.
So we weren't so stuck in capitalism or whatever.
Yeah.
What was the first? Dude, I'm so low.
What's the first question? Yeah.
Go to the notes, bro.
Go next.
Okay. What one thing do you wish you? What one thing do you wish you learned about personal finance when you were younger? That was a question that we asked on Instagram. Do you guys want to start? Cause
I could start. I could start. The one thing that I wish I learned when I was younger was I wish I learned how to budget. I like when I was like a kid. I remember one time, I worked at Stampede, and and then I went to Edmonton to go work kind of like the same fair, and we didn't get paid till the end of the fair, so I got paid like almost 2-3 grand. And I was kid. And I was like 14, 15 at the time. I didn't know what to do with 2-3 grand.
Buying Minecraft cards.
So I was like, I wish that like I knew how to I wish I knew the knowledge I knew now, where it's like save like whatever percentage you're comfortable with, or like usually good rule of thumb is like save 60 or 40 or 70-30, whatever you're more comfortable with or whatever people tell you. But I wish I just learned how to save. I wish I knew how to open a savings account. I feel like I was too scared to open a savings account. I feel like I had a student checking account for so long, and I'm like, yeah, that's my savings account. But then I was like, no, it's too easily accessible.
Actually, yeah, the good thing to bring up. Firstly, what I wish I did when I was younger, that I wish I didn't do when I was younger, was spend all my money on dance. But I also wish that I opened up a savings account. Fun fact, I actually opened up my first savings account. I think I was like literally graduating high school. So I was like 18. And then I was like, all right, well, and I like never used it, but I was like, I didn't know that you build interest when you put money in there. I was just like, oh yeah, cool. It's an extra account. But to me, I just thought it was like just put money in one like pot and like not really think about doing anything with it. But another thing I kind of wish, and I know a lot of people on the Instagram question when we asked this on Instagram, opening up an RRSP and a tax-free savings account.
TSFA.
I currently have one now. I have both.
I do. I have both as well.
And it's nice because if I have car problems, which I always do have car problems, and everyone has car problems usually, assuming you own a car and stuff for that. It's good, right? So you don't have to like have an anxiety attack where like I can't afford groceries or to afford basic needs.
Yeah, but to answer the Instagram question, I guess it was the same thing as you, like the TFSA and RSP stuff. Because like when I like looked at it, I was like, "What the fuck are these acronyms, bro?" It's just like I don't know what any of these.
Yeah,
mean.
man.
Like my mom did open.
Is that an Autobot? Like what the?
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
my parents did open like a TFSA for me, and like it's just kind of like contributing money automatically. But I didn't know what the fuck.
My parents
it was.
don't even know what they are.
I didn't.
I taught my parents what an RSP is. And
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, they knew about it.
Oh, they knew about it.
But
knew
they
about it,
they were just like, yeah, we just never did it. I was like, okay,
used it,
but you know, we're poor. So now is the time to learn. Yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't know. Like I always just thought savings account was just like money you put aside and like save it for a rainy day. It doesn't really do anything. I didn't know that it builds interest and that like you gain money from just putting it somewhere.
Yeah. For me, like all my accounts are like on Tangerine, so I manage
me
everything
too, me
myself.
too.
Like I don't have to, cause like I'm an introvert, right? So I don't want to talk to like bank.
teller.
Yeah.
I'm like,
The teller.
I can't trust them too
Yeah,
because they're trying to finesse me.
Yeah, like they're
Yeah.
trying to sell you things that you don't really need, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So the good thing with like I'm not like we're not sponsored by Tangerine or anything. I
No,
just
no.
like how they do like
Yeah.
you do everything yourself, and that kind of forces you to research as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like know what you're doing with your money, because at the end of the day, no one's advising you but yourself. So that's kind of the good thing about it. So yeah.
Same with me. I did mine all through Tangerine
Yeah,
too.
it's good.
Like
Yeah.
on my RSP, my TSFA. Like I think actually just opening a Tangerine account in general, and again, we're not sponsored by Tangerine, but I think
We
the
could be,
fact
though.
that it's like on. I think the fact that it's like online, and you do everything yourself forces you to like just be more.
It's so
independent when it comes to your
convenient because you don't have to
finances.
you don't have to wait in line, you don't have to
No,
make
no, no, no.
appointments. It's really convenient.
Yeah.
I opened up my RSPP through Primerica, and I opened up my tax-free savings account through an app. It's an app.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also a tax-free savings account like app kind of thing called Mocha. It used to be called Milo. Mocha is one of those apps, and oh my gosh, we're not sponsored by literally anything, but we're just saying what we do. Is that like, you know those
Again,
apps
we
that
could
when you
be.
buy like something that's like $5.99 and then it like rounds up to $6 and takes out 1 cent.
Yeah.
Takes
So
out 1
Mocha
cent
is
for
basically
safety.
that as well.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that you can open up as many accounts as you want, but it's all just one tax-free savings account. But you can put it in like categories. So like, if you want to put like and you make goals too. So like, oh, I'm gonna put $1,000 for vacation. I'm gonna put $500 for a vasectomy, or I don't know, like
Vasectomy.
anything. Like, I don't know, and anything you really want. And so I usually do that. But also probably in the near future, I'm gonna open on like when I get a more stable job, because my job's kind of iffy because of COVID. Open up another tax-free savings account for Primerica. Just cause, it's just nice because eventually when I'm able to afford to like find my own place, then
You gotta, like,
down
buy a
payments
house and
are
stuff
just
like that, down
done.
payments and stuff.
and all I gotta cover for is groceries and my tiers, and that's really it. Yeah.
And I want to touch on like how you open one through an app. Like it's really that easy.
Literally.
Like for example, if you want to invest in stocks, like if you download like again, we're not
sponsored by Wilson.
sponsored by anything.
We are sponsored by Febreze though.
Febreze. All right,
No,
so like
I'm just kidding.
if you wanted to buy stocks, like all you need to do is download
Oh,
like
clipping.
fucking Quest Trade or Wealth Simple, and you can put money in and you know start buying stocks. It's as easy as that. I think the biggest problem for people is that it's really intimidating to get into.
I'm
because
not in stocks.
there's like not a lot of information was like given to us through like the regular means like school,
like school,
or media, parents.
Media.
Yeah, because I feel like at a young age we're not trusted with money.
Yeah, financial literacy is not taught.
And it should be.
Mm-mm.
It really should be. Like I know in math 30 we learn about like fucking simple interest, compound interest, you know, fucking
Probabilities.
white girl Jenny's getting charged interest for borrowing her parents' car. Like what the fuck is that, bro? I wish we learned about.
Diagram
We did learn about
theory.
interest, but it's not in a relevant way.
Yeah.
Like if we learned interest in a relevant way, I think we would all be a little bit smarter with our money.
John buys 37 cases of Mountain Dew.
I also
John has a problem.
I learned how to do my taxes through my girlfriend's mom too. That's the funny part. It's like
I still don't know how to do my taxes.
like it's good that I finally know how to do them.
Yeah.
Me and my brother actually figured out how to do our taxes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It
It's
was the both of us.
My dad does them because he's an
We
accountant.
actually did it. Well, we learned through an app.
Yeah.
We learned through a website actually, and then the website actually does most of it for us. What's it called, Lawrence? Simple Tax.
Simple tax.
I also know in our city, like Calgary Library, well, fuck, we already doxed our area, but Calgary Library has like a bunch of free classes about stocks and bonds, and also how to do your taxes.
And it's free.
So
It's free.
for those of you watching, and I don't even know Alberta or just like anywhere in the world, I don't know, check your library. Maybe your library or some programs around your city that offer free classes about money, because I mean, yes, like of course, like if you're broke, you're broke. Like you need money to like, you know, to budget, but it isn't a good investment to know how to utilize your money to the best of its ability, and so that you don't like, because financial stress is like a big part, especially because we're talking about like mental health and stuff about 100%. That. Like the reason why we're talking about this is because like, and we talked about this in the first episode, how like money really stresses out men in general. So like honestly, being financially secure is probably one of the like best things I can ever ask for. I can like enjoy my time with my peers. I'm not like snapping at anyone. I'm just in a good mood. So like feel free to look for resources and stuff, because that's something I wish I did when I was younger. If I just use that library card to like take classes that take like an hour of my day, not even, to learn about like how to do taxes, how to budget money, what a savings account is.
Bro, literally.
Like the difference between like savings and checkings. And like sometimes Google's not enough, but resources in your city and your area definitely help.
Being like financially secure and financially literate, especially now at our age, is such a blessing, because it's just like, like Jason said, you don't stress too hard about it, and it's just like you're not like, fuck, how am I gonna
I don't have to get the value menu at McDonald's.
No, it's definitely a blessing, bro.
I think to like wrap up this point is like, why, like, what's the point of this episode? And like, why are we talking about money?
What do you even start with that?
Like, why are we even talking about money, right? Like, I know, like, first episode we're talking about mental health. That's pretty important. Second episode we talked about like coping mechanisms. Third episode
is a thing.
Financial health is a thing. Like
100%.
I know, like, you know, we shouldn't be governed by money. But the reality is we live in a capitalist society, so we need money to survive. Like money doesn't buy happiness, but you need money to fulfill your basic needs.
Happy, man.
So like the better you manage your money, no matter how much of it you have or how much of it is coming into your account like every month, the better you manage your money, the happier you'll be, the less stressed you'll be, as these guys have said. So so in this episode, like we've kind of talked about, like we've kind of addressed the Instagram questions. So in this episode we'll kind of talk about like what our experiences with like our finances were before, what we learned, what our best advice. Again, we're not financial advisors, so please, like, just take it as it is.
With a grain of salt.
With a grain of salt. Like what our worst purchases were, and like what we learned going forward. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. I don't know what actually the next question is.
Well, first of all, I kind of want to read some of the meme answers. Did you guys get any meme answers?
Did I get any
or
meme
we
answers?
could do at the end.
I don't remember if I got any meme answers.
We could do it at the end. We don't have to. And also, there was also some good answers.
I had one. What's it called? I recently went on a trip with Jason and a couple of our homies to Edmonton. And one of the answers was, don't hit up West Edmonton Mall twice during the same trip.
Bro,
like, it's kind of relevant, because it's like it's also the matter of like balancing your wants and needs, and also again coming back to budgeting, like rationalizing in your head, dude. You get that vacation high, or that friend high all the time when you're with your homies, and you're like, man, I gotta buy something to make this like trip more memorable.
My credit card was so high that week. It was only 3 days, but because like I haven't gone out in so long, like I think like I just needed that experience so bad, because I was saving a lot of money, and I was doing pretty well financially, because of course COVID, you don't really go out. But like I also during that weekend, Jesus Christ, during that weekend I ended up buying my flight to like Vancouver and stuff, and like pay for like the what is it, the lodging,
the BB.
Airbnb. I didn't want to say that, but the Airbnb, because I don't want people to know where we are.
Eat that.
But I paid for all the expenses too, plus going to Edmonton, so gas, and like because it was only a weekend, it was only like 2 nights. I was like, I don't want to like cook really. I'm just gonna like eat out.
Just eat
Yeah.
all
And
the-
we
eat
ate
all
out
the
like
time.
at like expensive restaurants,
Literally
and also
every single day, dude.
Oh
I
my
bought this
god.
fit too that was like pretty expensive.
Fresh, man. Looking
Like,
fresh.
and then when I also got like new shoes and stuff like that, and like I know
Oh
you
my
got new
God.
shoes as
Oh
well.
no, I did.
And when we got back, I was like I really,
Yeah.
I think I need to communicate with my friends. Like, hey, like I know we all want to have fun, but can we just do like a board game night or like
yeah.
I don't know, just like jerk each other
Yeah.
off for fun or something.
Do
Like,
you
I don't-
have like the the spending graph on the apps on your phone?
I do, yeah.
I was looking at that weekend.
red
it's like,
bar, or like-
it's like this,
Spike?
and then
It's like green, and then like the red bar is like.
And I think that that's super relevant because like summer, right? Everyone's going on vacations. It's really easy to overspend on vacations. So I think, like going back to your budgeting point, Ronald, like you need to budget for vacations.
Yeah,
and I think that's
100%.
like what we're doing for our like upcoming trip.
The Edmonton was spontaneous, by the way, so that's why I
Yeah,
spent.
that's why like.
But
I was
go
just
on,
like,
go on.
hey, yo.
what we're doing for like our upcoming trip. We're like planning everything, right? Like
Yeah.
it also helps to
Know how much you're
Yeah,
spending.
like
Yeah,
know how much you're
yeah.
spending, where you're going, where you're gonna eat, and like how much you need for gas and stuff like that. So like you know how much money you're going to spend.
Mm-hmm.
So so budgeting is really important, even if it's not for trips.
Yeah.
Everyday life, like
Yep.
budgeting is super important. So
I know a lot of homies that like shop therapy. I
Yeah.
definitely
retail therapy.
Retail
Yo, I
therapy.
used to have that too, bro.
I had food
I,
therapy.
I
so
still do that. I still retail therapy all the time.
I don't do it as much, but usually
yeah, me
like
neither. But you know when Prime Days rolls around, bro, it's
or like when it's
It's
Christmas, it's like
most
1 day
of it-
shipping. You don't even buy Christmas gifts; you just buy used shipping.
buy
so-
now.
Yeah, bro.
And, like,
You know-
comes
you
the
know
next day.
You know how on Amazon there's like add to cart or buy
Yeah.
now, buy now,
Yeah, bro, buy now, dude.
Smashing.
All right,
Yeah.
what is the next?
And then after
question?
that, you like realize it's like, damn, I just spent $200. What the hell?
Shit.
Oh wow, $700 credit card. I'll pay that later. It's fine. I have 21 days. So the next question is talking about how did you get into saving, investing, learning about personal finances? Like, what made you start? What was a kickstart to start? You have some notes. I didn't write any notes. But
I guess I can start then. So
Yeah.
basically, I didn't really get into. Well, I had throughout. I was like mostly like these guys. Like after high school, I still had the TFSA account that my parents set up for me.
Wait, I want to pause the story. This man didn't even have to take out student loans his first year. That's how responsible.
Oh, it's
That's
also
how
because I got
responsible
scholarships,
he is,
bro.
bro.
Oh yeah, and that too. But he's also just responsible. When I was his age, he's the reason why I was able to get through high school. I just want to say that real clear. Anyway, go on with your story.
All right. Well, like throughout uni, I only had that account where I was just like regularly contributing. But I guess the Kickstarter for me was like when I graduated university, a couple of friends and I were planning a grad trip to like Asia and Australia, right? So I had some money saved up, like a bunch of money saved up actually, because that trip is expensive,
bro.
It's expensive.
man.
But you know, little Miss Corona came around and
Eat that.
ruined our plans. So like I had all this money laying around, right? So I was just like, and with COVID and everything, that was like at the beginning of COVID where everything was uncertain, and like you couldn't go anywhere. So I was like, okay, I had all this money laying around that I couldn't use, like I couldn't go out, right? Couldn't see my friends. So I was just like,
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
but yeah, so I was just like, you know what? Let's. I was meaning to get into like investing for the longest time, but I just was too lazy or didn't have time. So I was just like, you know what? I have lots of time now since we're in quarantine. Let's watch a couple of YouTube videos. So I watched a couple of YouTube videos on like how to start investing, like what a TFSA and RSP was.
Yeah.
And then so from then I opened my Tangerine account, and then I started what's it called? I started my own TFSA, and then I opened like a couple of investing accounts. So opened like a mutual fund in my TFSA and in my RSP, and then I started to get into stocks, like how to buy stocks, how to trade stocks, what stocks are good. So then I opened a Wealth Simple account and started putting money into that. So like that March to June period, I was just like, I was kind of grinding, bro. I was like, oh shit.
So it was COVID that got you.
Yeah, it was COVID that got me. So it's kind of like a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
But I like saved a lot of money by not going out. and that gave me the means to start investing and using my money more wisely.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I'm just like I'm just chilling. I have like automatic deposits every month.
Passive income.
Passive income,
just kidding.
But lately my expenses have, like, my family and I just moved and I just got a dog, so I haven't been contributing as much.
Baby.
So yeah, hopefully in the next few months I can start like get that going again. But yeah, so that's kind of what started me on this personal finance journey. I think I'm a pretty good place right now. So how about you guys?
So me, I started investing in like saving. So right out of high school, okay. Huge disclaimer. I'm a dancer, so my finances are always bad.
I was literally gonna commentate about myself, but go on.
But so that happened probably up until maybe like last year, a couple years ago.
Yep.
And that's when I started starting a savings account, because obviously I would constantly need to save for like trips to go to like Vancouver or Toronto or wherever.
Dance-centric places.
And like dance-centric places, so that like I could compete in competitions and stuff like that. So that's the whole reason why I opened a savings account, is just to put money into there so that I wouldn't actually want to like stress myself out when it comes to that. But so I had a savings account because of that. I think because of COVID, and since we were getting such a big amount of money through CERB.
Oh, CERB is a big one too,
And I wasn't working at the time, so I was just collecting CERB, and I was getting like we were getting like 2 G's a month, and like I didn't know what to do with it. I had never seen this money in my bank account before. So I was kind of thinking about it, and I was like, man, I don't know what to do. So after I bought my PC and like did all that, and like kind of like gave myself like life quality upgrades, because I was like depressed as shit, and I was just like, fuck, COVID sucks. My brother and Mike, my cousin Michael, all got into investing around the same time. We were all like, yo, like these stocks are kind of popping off. The stock market just crashed. We should start investing. And so we found out about Wealth Simple. It was Mike that introduced me to Wealth Simple, and then also to my brother. So we started investing a ton, and it was a lot of like, I would say like it was a very much like meme stocks at first. We were all like, yeah, and invest in Dogecoin, invest in AMC, invest in GME, like invest in all this stuff. And then after that kind of calmed down and we came to our senses and we started losing money. we were like, okay, let's actually like think about this rationally and start investing in like more reasonable stocks. So so we started doing our research on specific companies like banks, like oil and gas. Like this is when I started talking to I started to reconnect with like Vince and everyone else, and like I started to talk a lot more to the investing boys, and we started to get our heads on straight and like not invest in GME, AMC, and Dogecoin. Like obviously there is still some of us who are just like hopeful, and obviously I still have a lot of my pocket companies or like cheap companies that I seriously believe in that will like go into like the $10 range or whatever. But stocks aside, it was just a lot of like watching videos, learning about like what dividends are, learning about like what, like when I get them, like yearly, quarterly, annually, all that stuff. And that's the big thing that I got into in investing. And also like as a turn of that, because I was so excited to like be in the investing game and actually have this knowledge, I was like, man, I got to save more money so that I can like invest in these things that I genuinely believe in, like these banks, these companies, this and that, right? And you get the thrill of like your income coming back. Like when that dividend hits, man, I'm like, yo, it may be like $10-15, but I'm like, damn.
No, it adds up.
It adds up, right? And it comes like, and some stocks do it quarterly, some stocks do it annually, some stocks do it like semi-annually. And like when you realize that money is making money for you, and
you can reinvest that money.
And you can reinvest that money, it's such an exhilarating feeling, because you're like, man, I'm literally making money doing nothing. And this is when I realized, like, if I ever win the lottery or come into a big sum of money, I'm going to be set for life, because I will have that financial literacy to know what to invest in and like what to do. Because like I was thinking about it, and like people are like, oh man, like $1 million is not a lot of money, and I'm like,
No,
But if you have the financial literacy to make that $1 million like turn into like 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, or just make it, or just increase it by whatever amount, like I'm just like, man, that is such a exhilarating feeling, because I'm like, if I can take this $100 and turn it to $200 like within a year, then that's great, right?
Yeah.
It's just a good feeling to have, to know like what investing is, to know what saving is, and to like feel safe and secure. Like, man, I can like building towards what your goals are.
Yeah.
So like essentially.
Yeah. No, that's good.
I just want to say that these 2 bright nipples of light are just fucking killing me.
So if you guys didn't know, our lighting was kind of fucked in the last episode, so I got these 2 ring light stands from Facebook Marketplace. Yo, shut up, Facebook Marketplace. I have a love-hate relationship with Facebook Marketplace.
I found Jason on Facebook.
I'm glad the girl thing we should talk about later with Facebook Marketplace. How like you don't need to get brand new things all the time.
You don't.
Capitalism
yes,
is.
yes.
If you're a hype beast, I'm sorry, you're a sheep. But anyway, I'm gonna be very transparent. I'm not really into stonks. I don't know a lot about fucking stonks and shit. But I've always been like very, very careful with my money, even before COVID. But it was kind of like an unhealthy way. Like I never spent my money on like anything recreational. Like all my friends, like even before COVID, I know they all had a gaming PC, and like they all had at least like a PS3, PS4 on the time.
Yeah.
The only thing I ever had was like a DS or a Nintendo 3DS. Like that was the most I had in terms of like gaming stuff. And mostly because like I was spending like a majority of my money on like dance, and like for those of you youngins, like if a person comes up to you and tells you like you gotta be hungry, don't listen to them. Just, yeah.
That
Hunger.
So
That's a lie. That's okay.
Big
I'm just saying that, like, and
disclaimer.
it's not just like dance in general, but like anything that's like any like invest your money. It's like, yo, if you're really hungry, you would take this workshop. If you're really hungry, you would spend money on shit like that. And like this is not directed at one studio. This is directed at like literally all fucking Calgary studios in general.
Sorry, disclaimer. If we're looking to the side, we're just looking at my brother.
Yeah,
My
he's
brother
popping off
freaking
right
out.
I
now.
almost look at the camera because like
Oh, the
I
camera's
want to
right
make
there
very
also.
intimate that like if any dance users are watching this, fuck you. But anyway, yeah,
Right.
just understand like because I definitely been doing a lot of self-help, and like I'm sorry, kind of getting off topic, but about like what it really means to find fulfillment in life. And one of the things was like challenging what it meant to find a passion. And even I feel like even my young friends kind of get caught into that. Like I know one of my friends was like, "Oh man, I wish I had a passion." And I was like, "Dude, like you don't really need one."
Mm-hmm.
Like sorry, not to like discredit anyone who has like find that one thing and that brings them fulfillment and makes their nipples hard. But when it comes to like finding things, you're allowed to sweat and you're allowed to bring focus on things that you take recreationally, which is something that I feel like a lot of people are kind of scared about. When I was in this like dance environment, a lot of times there'd be a lot of people in that like in that space where they were like, if you spend money on like on clothing or like anything that's like wasn't dance, it's like oh, if you really love dance, you would commit 100% to it, right?
Yeah.
And so the reason why I was like so good with money is because I didn't spend money on anything, like literally anything. When CERP hit, put that shit in my savings account.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
And I didn't spend anything. And like I remember I canceled my car insurance for a little bit because like I wasn't like I didn't go
drive, right?
I didn't go
Yeah,
out, so I
right,
literally
yeah.
just like all right, so I suspend my car insurance, won't spend any money for whatever, and then like the next year when they renewed, I like decided to
Yeah.
drive again.
No,
and
that's
stuff
smart,
like that.
actually.
Yeah, well, yeah,
that's
just like
super smart.
little things like that. And like another thing that really, and just to get back on topic, another thing with like in terms of how I got into like saving money or like what I've learned, is that Karen was also like, you should know how to do your taxes. I'm like, yeah, I should know how to. I should know how to do my taxes. So yeah, it was a good thing that like I was very fortunate that she knew about like how to do tax and stuff. But she kept like her mom like was like a little bit nagging us, but in a healthy way. It was like, you should take a class. It's like I took a class and it changed my life in terms of how to save money, and especially because she's a mother of like 3 kids and like supporting a family, and all of us are just single dudes who don't have a family to raise. And like, when you have a dog, of course, when you have a dog, but like investing in like those classes, and some of them are free. The paid ones are usually better.
Yeah,
like, no offense, but I don't really like before COVID, like I didn't really drink. I didn't do any type of drug. Like fun fact, I actually didn't take like Advil or medicine until it got really bad, because in my body I was like, I need to use my natural immune system. Like I was so inattentive with money. The only thing that like brought me joy with spending money was like buying a Wendy's hamburger, which was like very problematic. Now
you still do that, man.
no, yo, I haven't had Wendy's in like 3 months because I've been trying to eat healthy before we go to our trip. But anyway, but like I would say like I was always like into saving money because I was always a person that was always anxious about money. I don't know why I was like that, but I definitely started to learn more after high school, where like I started to learn how to do my taxes, tax-free savings account, RRSP. I know that they sound very intimidating, especially for the young viewers who don't know what that is. Yeah, it's not that intimidating. Just literally do a Google search, or if you're with like your bank, just like go to your bank and be like, hey, I don't know what this is. Can you tell me more? And like that's their job. They're paid to do that. So like. Yeah. And if they don't want to explain it to you, then just go to someone else. I don't know. But yeah, like it was just like things I did just to save money. I also like, I was very confident in like setting boundaries with my homies. Like, hey, can't show up this day. I don't get paid till whatever. Even though I was like lying out of my ass because I just didn't want to spend money that week. And you know, if your friends like to go out eat a lot, just like honestly have that conversation with them. I'm just like, hey, like, I know you're poor. I know you're poor. I know you bought like a second PC for the 500th time, whatever. Like, because I know that's all my friends do, right? Just be honest with each other. Like, hey, like, why don't we go somewhere cheaper? Because like, I remember, and like Ronald knows this, is that when we're in that dance studio, after like every like competition or whatever, we'd always go to fucking Earl's or Joey's, right? And like those restaurants, they're not the most bougiest. But they are pretty pricey.
They're pricey.
You know? Expensive, dude. And like I used to get like the hamburger there, and the reason why was first I do like hamburgers, but two, it was like the cheapest thing on the menu. Really likes hamburgers. And I remember like some of the sea people were like, Jason, there's more things than burgers on the menu. And I'm like, well, fuck you, I'm poor. Like, you know, like such an ass. But I was very unapologetic with like being poor. Like I would like make it as a joke, and it was a little insecure about being poor, but I was very careful with my money. However, I know not everyone is like, you know, like as disciplined with like their finance. Yeah. So I highly recommend taking like, and I know I'm gonna repeat myself like a broken record, but I highly recommend taking at least some free classes about how to allocate money. Download the Mocha app. It takes money automatically. So if you trying to save money, it puts it in like a savings account, and like you don't really have to worry about it. And then like if you want to go for a trip, which I'm doing with Vince like later this summer somewhere. I was able to afford it and not be anxious about it. I would say I started to learn more when I was 18, but like I was always into saving money. But yeah, I think in the near future I'd probably learn more about stocks. I just been so occupied with like life and stuff. Yeah.
And to touch on like a couple things like the classes thing, because I think people when they hear like, oh, sign up for this class, or like I know like taking classes might seem intimidating, like you might not have time or you might feel lazy, but literally you can learn everything you need to know on YouTube. Like you can learn everything you need to know about like opening a TFSA or an RRSP or investing or stocks in like like 1 or 2 5-minute YouTube videos. Like
100%.
Like if you're just bored not doing anything, like you can just scroll through a playlist of investing videos or saving videos, and you can learn everything you need to know. So you can do those on your own time. It's not coming. And I think like the other point I want to touch on is, I think all of us mentioned like we started getting into it after high school. So there inherently there's a problem in that, right? Like why are we not teaching kids how to handle their money like before they turn 18, before they go to university, get like the responsibility of managing a loan.
Yeah, so they don't know how to.
That's
it's really
just like, to go back on the question of like what I wish I put all my fucking student loan money in a tax or saving account, let that interest build, bro. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, that's what I did too, actually. And
I didn't do that, so fuck me.
I wish I took all of the student loan money and like invested it in something so that it would like obviously build, right?
It would
throughout
build,
the year, and then I just fucking sell the stock and then pay it back, right?
Yeah. The thing is like the shit we learned in high school is like, I'm gonna focus on like I guess the math class because math class is kind of like where I think this would fit in. Where we all is so fucking useless. The unit I point to all the time is permutations and combinations, the most fucking useless unit in Math 30. Like I have never, because basically it's like stats, right? Yeah. And in my like everyday life, I've never ever
Use
had to
stats.
use stats.
No.
Like, what is the probability of? Fuck this shit, man. I would rather.
What's the
learn
probability of it raining? Fuck you.
I would rather learn how. Like,
What's
tell
the
me what a
probability of this middle finger coming up? Ah.
like I think I mentioned in before episodes, like I tutor kids, right? And I always tell them this is the most fucking useless unit in math 30. If you don't do well, I don't care. Like, you shouldn't care. It just is not, you're
As
never
long as
gonna
you
use it.
pass, you're
As long as you
good.
pass, you're fine.
But like I would have rather learned about like all the stuff that we've talked about, like
Yeah,
what a savings account is, how to start
Yeah.
saving, what is interest, how does like interest work,
Uh-huh.
right? So yeah, I think we're really failing our
Young
young generation by not teaching them about money. Because I think, like when I was in high school, how I spent my money was, Jason knows this. After every dance practice, go to McDonald's, buy junior chickens, and then
The
and
thing
then
is,
that's it.
that
Buy
habit carried
clothes,
over to us. Like when we
Yeah,
finished,
like,
like we're
when
hurt,
we-
like because like Ronald and I decided to continue dance after high school.
Yeah.
Which I regret and have trauma from. But after every rehearsal, we would just like there was a McDonald's nearby, and like yeah, it was one of you worked at. It was one of your
Fucking your McDonald's, bro.
and like it was funny because there was always like crackheads there, and I remember one of our teammates actually like rode on like a little horse,
Yeah.
like a little toy
What
horse.
the
And it was a get ass McDonald's, but like
That's
you
fucking
know.
weird.
Because like we were like poor, we're like, oh, let's get the value menu, like chicken nuggets, whatever. But like that shit adds up, bro. Like that,
It
adds up.
It does. It adds up. Yeah.
One point I really want to bring up was like I don't think I really started to care about money is then when I started to be in deficit, where I actually had bills to pay.
Yes.
Which is like, and there's another like Instagram question where it was like talking about like if you live with your parents, be very grateful. Like if there's food at
Yeah.
home, like
Yeah.
eat at home, and like
100%.
100%.
I'm thankful that my parents still cook sometimes, and sometimes I do have to cook for myself. But yeah, I think like. I'm not saying to like hoard all your money and not enjoy life because obviously, in your youth you want to enjoy some life, but
Yo, 100%.
like just really evaluate the things you buy. Like if you really want something for like the capitalist of like, oh, this will make me feel better because it's like branded. Just really take some time just to sit down and be like, am I a fucking dumbass or am I gonna be smart and not buy this? Like
not biased.
just because like I don't know, when I see some of these kids who are like a little bit younger than me and like they're buying all this stuff, like I'm like, bro, like how, and like some of my friends that even talk about when they also had a big spending problem. Like I know when a lot of my friends were buying that whole anti-social hoodie, whatever, anti-social club hoodie.
Social club.
And like they were like, yeah, my bank account like hit -0, like past like the 0 mark. I'm like, damn, bro.
It's like, bro, when your bank account hits overdraft, that's when you know you have a spending problem.
Yeah, right. And like, I've never maxed out my credit card, and that's just, and of course I don't want to shame anyone for like if you do have like spending issues, stuff like that. But I will shame you if you are like into the capitalist like lie and into branding and stuff. I think you need to be a little more careful. I totally forgot what. Oh yeah, like just when you buy something, really put your head in it because like. You know how there's a joke, like, and I know all of us, like, still live with our parents and stuff like that, but, like, I want to move out so bad, and especially, like, for those of you who do live in, like, in a household where, like, maybe your mental health is, like, declining because of, like, the household is not the best, like, do you really need the pair of shoes, or do you want to get out of that house fast? That's just a perspective to put it in, you know what I mean?
That's true. And
I know this, like, kind of a little bit, kind of went in, like, a darker turn,
Yeah.
but for those of you who, like, need to get out of home, like, I get that, right? Because I know a lot of my peers that really need to get home, like, out of their home because the house is just, like, no respect of boundaries, it's just very toxic.
Yep.
Like, really think about what's more important. Getting out or, like, really, like, establish yourself, like, maybe getting your license or just, like, I don't know, getting, like, renting an apartment with a friend or like learning how to cook so like, you're not so codependent on your parents, or to buying like a hype brand because gang you know what I mean? But like just think about like if you really want to buy something important, just think about like is there something more important I could spend my money on, you know what I mean, that would bring me happiness in the long term, right? Because like again, I'm not telling you to hoard your money and not to spend anything on recreational, because I do believe that spending money recreational is also part of like taking care of yourself with mental health. But even at a young age, I always challenge you to think of like, hey, like how can I spend my money to the point where I will be fulfilled, or it might serve me in the long run, or it might just like make me feel better? Because like I don't know, I do think buying a one-time materialistic thing will really shit on you in the long run.
That you'll probably never wear because you don't want to get it dirty.
Is that? Oh my god! I was literally talking about sneakerheads with my coworker, and she was saying how her ex-boyfriend like bought her a pair of shoes, and she's like, yeah, and then I just used it to pay a month off my student loans because I didn't care about it. I was like, oh, good for you.
And okay, to touch on that, because I am very much like a big sneakerhead, and I'm very much into street brands.
Yeah.
And Jason would never shit on me, but I think a good rule of thumb, especially for my younger sneakerheads and younger hype beast heads out there who aren't as good with their money, the reason why I like have these shoes and collect all these shoes is because I know I can afford them. And I know
that's a big thing. That's a big thing.
I know I can afford them, and they're a luxury that I can't afford, and they're a luxury that I value. Especially now that I'm older, I'm so glad I got into sneaker collecting and like all that stuff when I got older, because if I was younger, I'd be fucking broke and like my credit would be in the shitter. So,
but it's your hobby. It's like your recreational thing.
It's something that gives me. It's something that like gives me happiness and gives me value. But it's also a good rule of thumb if you are buying anything that is within value, excluding a car and a house, because those are like investments that are just valuable over time. Not necessarily a car, because cars also depreciate.
Cars
but
depreciate.
That's
another
topic.
story. Yeah.
But when it comes to sneakers, or when it comes to like dance trips or anything like that, or anything just in general, make sure that you can afford it almost 3 times over. And
That's a good rule of thumb.
That's a good rule of thumb.
It's a big rule of thumb. Like, you see me on Instagram, I'll be wearing like fucking $300, $400, $500 pairs of shoes, but I know that I can afford these 3 times over because I invested or I saved for it.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with saving for something that you really, really want. But you have to know you have to save for it, and you have to know, like what Jason said, there are other things that are more valuable that you can spend it on. Like, if you're buying like a $500 pair of shoes and you can't eat for the next 2 weeks, then bro,
you can't eat your shoes.
You can't eat your shoes, and it's like at the end of the day, you're just gonna end up selling them. Like, obviously, there's a whole thing about like having value in sneakers and like reselling and stuff like that.
Yeah,
which is a whole other thing.
It's a whole other thing.
Like, it's a whole other market to get into. It's like stocks and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, make sure that you can afford your necessities, and make sure you can afford other things that are more important to you than just a pair of shoes or a t-shirt or I don't know, like makeup or whatever. But,
and that's something I always give advice. Just like, you know, if you have like for example, let's say you're a sneaker, right? If you have some nice shoes, right? Just know that, like, you know, especially if you're like looking for a rare shoe, or you're looking for like a shoe maybe that's not so rare. Let's use that for example.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, like I can always get these shoes later. You know what I mean? Like they don't go anywhere. People are always reselling them, especially if you're trying to get them used, right? Because I know getting
them used
is actually pretty better.
I just think regardless, and also coming back to the point where he's like, oh, I bought shoes and like they never wear them. I think getting things used, back to the Facebook Marketplace thing, I think just getting things used decreases the value so much, and it just makes it more financially feasible if you are going that route of like streetwear or sneakers or stuff like that.
And the thing about sneakers is that like usually another sneakerhead will be anal retentive about taking care of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I know, like, you know, it's nice when it's brand new, whatever, but like I think just accept the fact that like used doesn't mean bad. Like I feel like that's something that I feel like people need to constantly challenge themselves, because like if you're using it for an Instagram pic or for like the feel good of like wearing something nice, motherfuckers are not gonna.
At the end of the day, no one really cares other than you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Is that like no one's gonna really care, because like they're gonna look at your one photo, they're probably gonna like it, and they're gonna move on with their life, right? So just know that like when you're investing your money into something expensive recreationally, just how will it serve you in the long run? And the reason why I'm having this conversation is because like I was a dumbass and I did that for dance, and now I'm broke as fuck, and I wish I had so much, and like I could have paid off my loans by now. Or pay for therapy. I don't know something. So like, just, you know.
Yeah.
I think I'll touch on like a couple points you guys have been discussing. So first, is one Instagram response that I got is kind of relating to like how you guys are talking about like it's not wrong to spend money recreationally.
Yeah.
And I think
yeah.
this response that I got was like you can't take money to the grave. So and my response to that was like so live your life, right? So I know some people who are like so cheap that
Yeah.
like they reduce their own quality of life just to save as much money as
Ooh, I
they
have a
can.
story,
And that's
but-
like
yeah.
not the move, because while you're here, like while you're living, you want to be happy, right? Like you don't want to be a slave to money.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh my gosh, I have to like accumulate as much money as I can. Like it's okay if I live like crap. Like when I'm young, I can like reap the benefits later. Like you're essentially wasting a lot of your time, because like you spend 10 years of your life unhappy, and there's no guarantee that after those 10 years are done, you're gonna be happy with a lot
That
of
whole,
money.
like, grind culture of like save your
Yeah,
money
so-
and then live
Yeah.
retirement. Yeah.
Or even like the guarantee of you being happy after that 10 years
Yeah,
once you amass all that wealth.
You might be like, oh man, I regret like because I don't know, you might have developed like some health problems as you get older.
Yeah. You might still be
And-
fucking single.
And and you're like, oh man, I regret like not doing too much when I was young. Like those are like your golden years where you're like, you know, where you have a lot of energy and like.
It's also
stuff
hard to
like
make
that,
friends
right?
when you're older. So like
yeah, man.
That is absolutely true.
spending money for your friends, like I'm not saying buying gifts, but just spending money to do things with friends, like trips and stuff,
Yeah,
Yeah.
is a good investment.
it's a good
Like,
investment.
Huge, good.
You know, I know I'm shitting on like capitalist people, but like trust me, spending money to nourish friendships is so important.
It's important.
And
Yes,
like even if you're
yes.
young and you're like, nah, bro, my passion has become like a Pokemon trainer, and like I don't want to think about anything.
I
want to
be the very best, bro. Like
Fucking
no one ever was.
stop sweating at that one thing. Take a
Replace it
break
with
and
dancer.
really value the
Replace
friendships
it
you have
with
right now.
dancing.
Because
Yep.
once you I use Pokemon Master as a metaphor for dancing, because like fuck, like, and like I think all of us can talk about this, is that like I know you spend a lot of time for your job and stuff and your schooling and stuff. Ronald and I spend a lot of time with dance, like, you know, again, like, and this is kind of going back to like toxic hustle culture and like being hungry and like spending your money on like the dream of your passion, you know what I mean? Like, and kind of touching it back about like if you're really winning, if you are successful and you have all this money, if you have no authentic friendships, like, are you really winning? Like,
You're
you know,
not. 100%.
you know what I mean? So like, you know, one financial advice I can give, and that's something that I will like will argue people with, is like I think it's good to spend money for your friends as a selfish thing, like not as like a materialistic thing, but as a way of nourishing friendships. Yeah, dude, like,
I
and
would've.
the reason why we're having this podcast is because like, well, we're not saying just for dancers, but just anyone in general who's younger, who's like really into one thing. Like, if you have a passion, just be very wary of how much money you spend. Like, I know, like yesterday I was playing Valorant with like a group of friends, and like hopefully this person doesn't watch it. I don't think he knows who we are, but basically like he's a person that like is very into Twitch, right? And he has his parents pay for his Wi-Fi, and like, you know,
all that stuff.
and like, you know, and pay for like, you know, his stuff, really. So he's a young kid, you know, he's a young kid, so it's like it's kind of normal. But like he was like, he's a person that likes to subscribe, like, oh, like I dare you to do this and I'll sub this, right? And he's very into that, right?
Yeah.
And like, because Twitch is his passion, right? He's like, he wants to become a streamer and stuff. And I don't really know this guy personally, but I was like, dude, like, we don't know you. You don't have to sub. Like, you know, just like, I know
chill.
Twitch is your passion and you're trying to support other content creators so that you can build your own platform. But yo, like, when it comes to investing into your passion, just like be mindful of what will serve you if you really want to go into that path of like building your career and stuff like that. Because I understand you want to become like a full-time streamer and stuff like that, but just like don't sub to everyone to get them to watch your stream. Like, you know what I mean? And like, that's just an extreme example. Because I want to talk about Twitch, but I know that happens for us to dance because we spend so much money, and like we would be guilted. And like, I know like other studios are like, oh, like, we're inviting the OGs and stuff like that, but like the workshop was like poorly marketed, and like the workshops were hell expensive. So it's like, oh, you're a culture appropriate if you don't come. It's like, no, it's like, cause I'm poor, and like you know, usually it's like a white dude who like has his parents pay for everything. Like, so it's, you know, it's, you know,
fucking dying over there.
makes you feel guilty. And so like I remember I used to feel guilty because like, you know, people will use the whole like, you know, especially if you're like part of like community like esports, whatever, they will like be like, oh, you're not supporting the community, you're not supporting the community, but like understand that those people can go touch some grass because you need to take care of yourself first, right?
Yeah.
If someone is like, and of course, like I always, especially with dance, like I understand, like do your homework, of course, and there are some free resources, and be willing to have conversations with people about like anti-racism and stuff like that. But just be mindful that like, hey, like I physically can't afford this. Just be honest with yourself. You know what I mean?
I think I want to touch a couple of things on that. I want to build off of your point. Like, when we say, I try to put myself in like those like young people's shoes when they're trying to follow their passions, and the advice we're kind of giving now is kind of like what their parents might say.
Oh,
to them.
so they're probably like trying to disagree with us. I'm like, yeah,
It's actually true. Like
It's true.
It's true. Like you might not agree with what like we're saying or what your parents are saying. Where you have to be like, you have to like think about this. Like, is this really something that you want to be investing all of this money in right now? Like it's fine if you want to pursue it, right? But if you want to commit all of your time, all of your money into this right now, first of all, you better be good at it, and second of all, you better be committed to. You better like, be prepared to hit some roadblocks, to fail a bit, and be committed to that.
And that's the thing is that like theoretically it's possible, but the thing is like in 5 years from now, you don't know how your mental health
Exactly.
Be, you know what I mean? That's a big thing I want to bring up is that, and also you don't know what's gonna happen. We just had an epidemic. A lot of artists, a lot of the art scene, like, and even mainstream artists too, got hit hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Life is unpredictable, and I'm not saying like you cannot pursue your passions, but also on average, like for those of you who are passionate about things, like what is it? Keone actually shared this post. You remember that post he made about like him losing interest in dance?
Yeah, him losing.
So if you
falling
don't
out
know,
of love with dance.
Keone is like this like well-known dancer, and like Keone Madrid is his name.
Yeah. He's like a well-known choreographer.
Check it out on his
dancer
Instagram.
and
I
stuff.
think I forgot what the thing is titled. It's called like Relentless.
Something like Indecisive or something.
Indecisive.
Like
There you go.
that.
Indecisive, right? Where this is a person who like became a professional dancer and was like committed to it, right? If you're a young person and you feel like that's your one true calling, like just a thing, it's actually a lot easy to actually fall in love with something else. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And you actually learn a lot about yourself, because when you're young and like even when you're 18 or 20, like you think you know what you want, but sometimes when you get older, you really start to value other things in life, like relationships. And I'm not talking about romantic relationships. I'm talking about like
just friends.
Just friends, right?
Yeah.
Like how lonely the world can be, because like, you know, if you're like an ex like professional at whatever the hell, and you're good at it and you succeed in it, like, dude, shit gets pretty lonely. You know what I mean? And like, you know, the reason why we're having this podcast is because that's like one of the reasons where I like kind of wanted to join, because like I committed so much time and energy to one thing, and I literally lost all my friends because of it. And I'm broke as fuck because of it. Like, you know what I mean? And so like
both of us.
Yeah. Right. And like, you know, yeah, just like be wary of where you spend your time, because time is money. And like, I'm trying to keep it on topic, whatever the fuck. But like, you know, for those of you who are like have found your passion, quote unquote, know that there's not one thing that's gonna keep you fulfilled. There's many things that will keep you fulfilled. Many things. If you think only one thing will keep you fulfilled, like I'm just gonna tell you, that's just not it.
That's not it.
It's not it, Chief. And
people
like,
change. Like your mentality changes, your personality changes, your likes will change.
Yeah.
The only thing that won't change, to be on topic with the podcast, is you're gonna need money when you're older. So like, I don't know, like you can't pursue your passions, but at the same time, like keep in mind like your long term, like long term, like financial health as well.
Yeah, feel free to hustle, and there's nothing wrong with hustle.
Yeah.
I think
There's nothing wrong with
especially when you're
hustling,
tapping that flow state and that creative state. Like it's a high, right? And it feels fulfilling, right? Yeah, and it fulfills you. Absolutely, go for it. I think you should 100% pursue your passions,
but you need to be responsible.
Don't go in there with a blind eye and like
Yep.
And I feel like the story with like that streamer you're playing with. I think, like, I don't know him, but like from what you've said, I feel like he has like the blinders on, where it's just like
no. And the thing is, like,
yeah.
I didn't really know him that personally, so I didn't want to like. It wasn't my job to have a conversation with him. Of like, hey, like, you know, I know your parents are paying for everything, like including like your setup, your Wi-Fi, everything, but you know, put that money in your savings account.
And all right, so the topic is, what is our bad habit with money?
Yeah.
Ronald,
Okay.
shoot.
I am probably the worst with money out of probably the three of us.
You think so?
I've gotten a lot better like over the years.
I feel like you're pretty. Okay, well, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm pretty responsible with money now, but back then, Jason, like, dude, like.
I mean, we all right. I bought so
yeah,
much fucking
yeah,
money.
yeah,
So.
dude. Okay, so my bad habits with money, especially back then, was buying shoes. I was super, super into sneakers when I first got into it, and big disclaimer: if you are getting into anything, if you're getting into a hobby, passion, whatever it is, make sure that you don't overspend. I think a big thing for me was I used to overspend all the time. I used to be like,
I get paid later.
I'll get paid later, or I can afford it later, or this and that. And a big rule I abide by now, especially because like I'm still into sneakers, I'm still into clothing, I'm still into like dance somewhat. I always make sure that I can afford the trip, the shoe, or the item 3 times over. And I did mention this earlier in the podcast. It's super, super big to know that you can afford it 3 times over. I think that's a really good rule. I saw it in one of my sneaker groups, and that's what really woke me up, because I was like, man, I'm always broke. Like I can never afford these things. And I'm like, well, fucking dumbass, maybe actually look at your finances. So that's my big habit. Like, it's not as bad of a habit now. I think a big bad habit for me, not as recent, but eating out. Getting like skip the dishes, like Doordash, Uber Eats, like doing that, and like instead of cooking, it was a funny thing, because me and my cousin Michael have been like really into like just buying groceries and getting meals, and the meal that like he used to feed me and my brother actually for like 2 days, because we just ended up cooking the same meal, only costed us $30. Whereas like $30 would be like pretty much like one skip the dishes meal, and that's like $30 for like 2 people. So realistically, you think about it, that's 4 meals.
That's 4 meals,
and it's like 1 to 4. It's like, would you rather eat 4 meals for $30, or would you rather eat 1? And it's like, you just have to put in like the work to actually like cook it and stuff.
You also have ingredients at home that save you money as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like garlic, like onions. Everyone fucking has salt and pepper, right? And so bad, like my 2 like biggest bad habits was like spending money on like shoes and clothing, and and like eating out all the time. Those are like big ones. Yeah.
I guess I can go next. It is actually one of Ronald's bad habits too, and it's spending way too much money on food, especially when I was in uni, because
sir.
I guess like I'm gonna dox like our location, but at UC, bro, there was like
we've doxed our location like 42 million times.
Korean barbecue, Vietnamese bake chef,
Carl Jr.,
Carl's Jr., Oriental, dude.
Oh my god.
Dude. The hot dog buns from that Viet place.
Yes,
dude,
$3.
The one thing I miss about UFC is the fucking
food, bro. It so like in first year where I was like, I guess I was at school for like fucking it can be up to like 12 to 13 hours per day.
Yeah, like school for like 12, 13 hours.
And I would only bring like 1 meal from home. Like I get hungry, right? So like you buy food at the food court, which would be like, I don't know, could be up to like,
bro. It'd be like it could be up to 30.
Up to $30. Like
That's
one
so
meal
good.
like Korean barbecue is probably like $15.
Bro.
And that was in first year. So I was actually when I gained a lot of weight, because freshman 15 is a real thing.
Freshman 15
is a real thing.
That's
That's another podcast. But like that was like the year in university where I spent the most money, and it was mostly on food. And I think even now that I'm out of school and that I'm older, it's still kind of like a bad habit that I struggle to kind of overcome, because I look at my budget every month and I have a certain amount for food, and it's a substantial amount. Like it's not like a lot, but it's
pretty big.
But I feel like I don't go out to eat. Now like that I'm single, I don't go out to eat as much. But I still like go close.
Now that I'm single, yeah, 100%.
A meal can cost $12 when you're single, but when you're dating, it's like $30.
It's $30.
I don't know how the math works.
Dude, no. You'll buy a meal and like just for yourself, it'll be like $12, and then you go out with your significant other, it's like $50.
It's just $50.
I don't know.
Like,
but like even that, I'm not eating out as much anymore. I still feel like I go close to my budget, or I go over it sometimes. And you know what it is? It's the fucking coffees, the breakfast at McDonald's, all the little like food expenses that add up, like they don't seem like a lot. Like $1 coffee, $2 like McMuffin. If you get that like multiple times a week, they add up.
100%.
So that's kind of like a struggle that I have still, especially now that I've moved to a place where there's a lot of like good food places. Like there's a Gongcha near my house now. Yum Yum Barbecue. Shout out Yum Yum Barbecue. Goated.
Yum Yum Barbecue goated, bro.
Goated, bro. But yeah, so I'm, like that's kind of like my bad habit I'm trying to leave in. And how I kind of solve that is kind of like, I actually had it today where I was like, should I go for breakfast or I can make coffee at home? And then there's like some pan de sal.
Like buying a Keurig maker, a Keurig machine, is actually a good investment.
Dude, having a coffee
maker or like a Keurig,
thank God I live with my parents, man.
Yeah.
My parents just bought a coffee maker, and it saves me so much money, dude.
Yeah.
Like I find myself every time I'm going to work, like I don't find myself spending money on like Tim's and shit.
Yeah, because you make your own coffee, put it in a coffee mug, and then you're good, right? So, also, not unrelated, and this might have been more fit for the last episode, but don't get Tim Hortons iced coffee, bro. Or especially the cold brew. It tastes like piss.
Yo, fucking tastes like ass, dude.
It tastes like, okay, so anyways, that was my bad habit. It's like spending too much money on food. It's really easy to overspend on food, but like it's also easy to not overspend on food, but it's like it just needs self-control and stuff like that. So Mr. Jasen.
I actually want to talk about the food thing and also how I kind of fix that. So, like, I would say right now I'm pretty good at a lot of the habits I have, but even like before COVID and just everything. So, for one, I think my worst habit was spending money on trips I couldn't afford. That was a big thing. I just didn't do any budget. I was like, I'm just gonna live my life, not think about. I'm here for vacation. I'm not here to work.
That is
making an Excel sheet, even if you don't know how to use Excel, make a table in Word, Microsoft Word or some shit. I don't know.
Or you can even write it down.
Yeah, write it down on
in your fucking notes.
Like
your
it,
iPhone, bro.
just you can save so much money and have a good time. 2 for 1, 2 birds, 1 stone, 2 girls, 1 cup. Just it's such a worth it thing to do. Another thing, dance was like spending money on like workshops because I was being gassed as like, you're not supporting the city, and then like I was like, oh yeah, I guess I'm being a shitty person, I should support it, and then the class ends up sucking because people don't know how to teach in this damn city. Anyway, and then but the last thing was food. So one thing I actually did to fix it, which really helped me, is that so I have a checking account, I have a savings account, I have a credit card. So I think we have the same banks, which is like RBC. So RBC did this awesome thing that if you spend money with your credit card, you get like points, and then you can redeem those points for like cool shit, and it's like some pretty cool shit. So I would buy everything on my credit card, right? But the thing is, like, because it's a credit card, you don't really like think, and like, you are saving money by buying stuff because you get points and you can redeem it for later and buy something you would want through like with points and stuff like that. But the thing is, like, because it was like an unlimited amount or like kind of an unlimited amount, like it was a lot easier to spend things. So what I did is that I only paid bills with my credit card, and then with my debit card, that's when I buy recreational things. Everything recreational, I buy on my debit card because it really stings a lot more when it's coming directly from the source of like my money. Yeah. And then my savings, they're just there building interest kind of there, and like I would put money from like using apps, of course, to put it automatically, so I don't have to think about it. One thing, and I guess I'm going back to like how did I save money? Yeah, like if you're spending something recreationally, use your debit card. I know like you don't get points or whatever, you don't get perks because like whatever, but it stings a lot more to a point where you know what I mean. So it's like maybe I should.
That money leaving your bank account, that shit hurts.
But yeah, the biggest thing was food. Just to kind of touch on the topic of like university, like I know the KBBQ there used to be like $10. So if you had a $10 bill, that meal could feed like 3 people. Holy shit!
It was so much. So much. One time I sat down and ate it, and I think I almost puked because it was so much.
It was so much food.
And they gave me the shits, dude.
That shit gives you the shits.
Like, I would get coffee at Tim's because like you got class and like and the coffee just gave me the shits in general. And then during lunch I would like have the KBBQ whatever, and like I would just and the bathroom in like the cafeteria was musty, so I would go across campus to get to another bathroom, so it was like a lot cleaner.
The clean bathroom.
But like I'm like walking with like bubble goods. like trying to make it. And, like
You're like clenching your.
and then by the
you're, like,
time
clenching your
I
leg,
get it,
bro, and
I'm
you're
like ripping my pants like
power walking.
and like just like all of it comes out. But
UFC bathroom confessions.
yo,
bro?
oh my god, bro. I did the one in like that lab building where you peel their labs and I
Oh yeah.
It's
I
so
know.
clean.
I know
It's
the
so
bathroom. I know the
clean, dude.
bathroom.
I
know the
I
bathroom.
always go to like the ones where like all the science labs are held.
Yeah.
That's where I go.
Oh yeah.
That's where-
Yeah.
But and just to like get back on topic, one thing I did do is I ended up deleting the Skip the Dishes app and the Doordash app. I mean, I sometimes still go on my computer, but I made a habit that if I want food, I have to go out and drive. And so first of all, if I do end up spending money on food, I don't pay for delivery fee. You know what I mean? So that's like one thing.
Yeah.
Because delivery fees for some reason get a lot more expensive. And
Delivery fee.
for those of you who are older and can't drive, I know I make fun of you guys a lot, but
Get your
like,
license.
sorry, bro.
Get your license.
But like, for those of you who do drive, like I think it's very good just to delete the app and be like, hey, I'm gonna give food to myself. And like, you know, I know a lot of neighborhoods nowadays, especially in our city, have like food places near it. You know, like it's like 5 minutes. You know what I mean? You know, you just go pick it up, whatever, get a drive through, whatever. And like, trust me, like when you do cheat, like you know, spend money on food and you're spending, at least you're not spending like money on tip plus
Tip, delivery fee. And then there's
All that
like
stuff.
fucking skip the dishes fee.
Yeah.
It's
It adds up,
crazy.
it adds up.
It's
It adds up,
crazy.
right? And like, yeah. And another thing I would say, yeah, spend directly from your checkings because like you can really feel this thing because like, you know, if you have like $1,000 in your bank account and like you do in your credit, you don't really feel it because it's like oh yeah, I'll pay it off later. But like every time you spend it on your
It gets lower.
It's like it gets like $7 and then another $7 and then $10 and then $20 and a $30 meal. And then you go to Joey's and you spend $50 and then you just
The
you know what I mean?
Joey's,
Like,
bro.
yeah, just like that's one advice I give because I think that really helped me with my like fast food eating problem. And I haven't eaten Wendy's in like 3 months, like you know, and I love that place. And like you know, when people are like, oh, when you eat healthy, you don't crave junk food, dude. I think about Wendy's every day. Like it is like my first love. And
It's like crack, bro.
and
It's like
speaking of love, like
dude.
another thing that Karen and I have been doing is that like we would cook together, right?
Yeah.
And so, and usually when we eat out together, it's like $30 for some. I don't know why it's expensive, but when we like buy groceries, because we only buy a few things, like usually chicken and like some condiments.
You just buy the main. You buy the main pretty much.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like $16 or like $20, and that feeds like both of us twice. So,
Literally.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, and,
It's
like-
what me and my brother what me and my brother have been doing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, honestly, and like if you don't know how to cook, literally just follow a YouTube tutorial. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
bro.
mean?
easy.
And like you can make rice on a pot if you know that. You don't need a rice cooker if you don't have one. So like just like
And it's fun. Like cooking
It's
is
fun.
fun.
It's fun.
it's a nice thing to do. Yeah, especially when you're doing it with friends. Yeah,
With
or
a
like
friend or
I mean,
with your
like
significant
if
other, it's so much
if you're
fun.
if you're scared to like cook, then start with like an easy dish.
Yeah.
Like
Just grilled
grilled
Yeah,
chicken,
good chicken. Yeah,
rice. It's
Yeah.
so hard to fuck up rice. Like
I fuck it up
like
all the time.
fried
Man, it's
rice
dry as
maybe.
fuck, like for some reason.
But at least it's edible, right? And then like you
Yeah,
had
yeah,
fun. I don't
And
know
you
what
just
else
put
is
salt
it?
in it.
Egg.
Egg
You
is
fuck up
nice.
egg, bro.
So
Come on,
easy,
man.
dude.
Like I don't know, soup. Like fucking.
Soup.
There's a lot of like easy meals to cook,
Yeah,
and
like sandwiches. Sandwiches are super.
Sandwiches,
It's very
yeah.
easy.
Like-
Pierogies are very easy to make.
Oh yep.
or stuff that's already like pre-made, like I don't know,
Pre-made.
like dumplings, where you just
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
like
yeah.
put them in the boiling
You just
water.
you put them in the boiling water. Try to like also this is like off topic, but try to stay away from like microwavable foods, obviously, because you know even then they're like super processed and they just cost a lot because you just put
Costs
them in
way
the microwave.
more too. Yeah,
It costs way
It's
more,
basically
so-
getting a fast food. If you're gonna spend money on microwave food, just go to fucking
Just
McDonald's.
go to
Let's go to
McDonald's, bro.
Bro, chicken nuggets, BTS
Yeah,
meal,
Grand Big
Yeah.
Mac,
double Big Mac.
the double Big Mac.
And then you put bacon in, so it's no longer a Big Mac anymore.
It's
whatever.
not a Big Mac anymore. Okay, I think we've talked for long
I
enough.
still want to read some of the meme stuff.
Oh yeah, go for it,
Yeah,
go for it,
there's
go
like
for
a-
it,
like
go
a,
for it.
like an after credit, you know, when we end the scene. So some of the answers I got, let me just read them. Some of them are pretty funny. Okay, so like we got the boring ones out of the way. Open up TFSA. Put all my allowance money into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Let's see, saving money for parents, whatever. I got one of the
Dogecoin.
Bitches are temporary.
Dogecoin.
Pokemon games are forever. Another one was take care of. Well, that's whatever. Girls with nose rings and belief in astrology don't pay rent. Okay. Start OnlyFans with just toes is also a viable option. I think
Yeah.
you need to be able to be stupid with your money here and there. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Oh,
so,
100%.
like, and like you know, I know I shit on a lot of people nowadays, but understand that when you first I'm talking mostly with the young people. when you get your first job and you first like get some kind of like income, you're gonna be stupid with it. That's
Yeah,
like, very
I was
normal.
fucking
But
stupid with
in
my
the
shit.
long run, we're kind of like being a parent to you just for the sake of your sanity, for that you can
Yeah.
have a nice, wonderful life.
Because we've lived
Yeah.
through it or are currently living through it.
Yeah.
So
just
like, bro, you are free to fuck up, but we're just telling you to fuck up less.
yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Yeah, fuck up less. And don't go to Joey's. The place sucks.
don't go with the Joeys.
Yeah.
And with that, I think we will end our podcast there.
Yes,
Thanks
sir, yes,
for
sir.
watching episode 4, all about the money.
The monies.
Make sure you guys hit the like button. I always fucking
Like, comment.
Tell us
Last
what you guys think. We
Tell
want
us
to
what you-
hear what you
Yeah.
guys think, because like I have pretty strong opinions. So I love to be challenged. I love being challenged. Yeah, just
Yeah.
comment, like, subscribe to your
Yeah.
Patreon for feed pics and whatnot.
we'll love to hear you guys' opinions in the comment section. You know, we'll facilitate
any
discussion.
advice you have? For
Yeah,
saving
any
money?
Any
financial
advice?
advice?
Put them in the
like,
comments.
put in them in comments or just DM us and we'll like share it or talk about
and I'll
it.
steal them and use them for myself.
Yo, facts.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys all have really good advice as well, so we can exchange advice too. So, yeah. With that, we'll catch you guys in the next episode. I don't know when, because me and Jason are going on vacation soon, so I don't know when this will be released or when we'll record our next one, but we'll see you guys then.
Be in the same fucking basement.
It'll be in the same basement
With this Febreze
with
bottle.
the same
The
Febreze
same
bottle.
Febreze bottle.
Spot World will. Is it even visible? Is it visible here? Is it visible
Yeah,
here?
it's visible here.
Spot World will be in the next episode. It's gonna be in a different space, but yeah.
Pee up my ass. Anyway, take it easy, guys. Bye.
Take it easy. Bye. Take care.
All right, that's a wrap.
That's it.
All right. Woo.